I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. So she says he's been harassing her, and they bring in some team, and he says, whatever you want, I will do it or not do it. You tell me. So they go forward. Well, we move forward in the story, and she's got to go do PR for the film. And she goes out in the summer, this past summer, and she had about 2 minutes of bad PR. A 2009 Glamour UK interview by Blake Lively, and in her interview, she admitted to trying to poison the cast of Gossip Girl, which is where she made her name, against her co-star Penn Badgley, who played her love interest, Dan Humphrey, on the show. She said, at first I was so upset that they had hired him, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him.
In a shocking turn of events, Megyn Kelly has reportedly confirmed a massive legal defeat for Hollywood star Blake Lively, sparking speculation about potential legal consequences, including a possible arrest. While details remain unclear, the high-profile case has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, leaving fans eager to learn more about the charges and implications. As speculation grows, many are questioning what led to this dramatic courtroom setback and whether Lively could soon face serious legal repercussions.
I have absolutely no feelings about this guy, Justin Baldoni. In fact, to be perfectly honest, I reviewed some of his social media, and he seems kind of ridiculous with his toxic masculinity, lamentations, and so on. But that's fine, that's me. So I'm not on his side. But my point is simply, I just don't see it. In their incendiary complaint, where they're trying to do their best to bash him and the PR team, I don't see that the second loop closed of, and then here's where they did it. It's just all supposition. They don't have these great texts saying, look what I got placed in the New York Post. Blake Lively, who I believe thought she would be received or perceived as an Alyssa Milano or Ashley Judd Me Too victim, is instead looking a lot more like Amber Heard. How did that work out? Bad move. And honestly, to me, the lesson is, A, be a good person. But B, if you're a Hollywood star or any sort of a public figure, would you just please take your licks in the press and shut up about it? People have real problems.
Megyn has unleashed a scathing critique of Blake Lively, labeling the actress a serial fraudster and calling out her alleged overbearing personality on past acting projects. According to Kelly, Lively's behavior on set has reportedly caused friction with co-stars and directors, with claims that she exerted excessive control over creative decisions.
Here she is at the 2022 Forbes Power Women's Summit.
I would show up on a set. I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character. And sometimes I had directors or producers or writers who would welcome that and invite that once they saw that I was able to offer that. And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. So I think that for them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull because you're like, you're trying to assert yourself into something that we didn't hire you to do.
So she's a serial fraudster.
The controversy began during the production of It Ends With Us, a film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel, where Lively played the lead role and Baldoni served as both director and co-star. In December 2024, Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department, alleging that Baldoni had created a hostile work environment through inappropriate comments and unsolicited physical advances, including improvising unwanted kissing during filming.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals. And then she's going on this press tour pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press and led to a series of clips of her being insensitive in one way, shape, or form with other interviewers in the past. She has no one to blame but herself for that.
The press tour is part of that pay package.
Right.
You have to show up with a smile on your face and be polite to people.
In Blake's lawsuit, she says that Justin wanted her to remove her blazer, to see her in her onesie that she was wearing, and that he told her that this would be a sexier look, or that she looked sexy, and she felt very uncomfortable about this, okay? So apparently what actually happened is that, according to Justin's attorneys, he suggested she take off her big coat so that her onesie would be visible in the scene because it will be hot, because it was 90 degrees in the small bar with no air conditioning. Lively mischaracterizes this in her complaint as Baldoni referring to her as hot, not, the temperature. Given that Lively herself had earlier expressed to him that she wanted her character's wardrobe to be sexier, Baldoni encouraged her to accept direction by saying it's sexy, meaning that without the big coat, the wardrobe was sexier. As Lively had said she wanted it to be. Lively took this personally. She was unable to take the direction regarding her self-chosen wardrobe, stating, "That's not what I'm going for."
The bombshell accusations have sparked widespread debate, with some defending Lively's work ethic, while others question whether her on-set conduct may have contributed to recent legal troubles. As controversy swirls, fans are left wondering whether these allegations will impact Lively's career moving forward.
That's called fraud, when you pretend you want to do the one thing and you'll do the thing they're hiring you for, but all along you have secret plans to do something very, very different that's above your pay grade. And she finally bumped into someone who was weak enough and not famous enough to stop her, right? This Justin Baldoni, most people had never even heard of him. He'd been in like one series. He certainly wasn't at Ryan Reynolds level fame, never mind Blake Lively. And she bullied him into giving her the movie where she did her own cut. They released the cut of the movie. He didn't even get to see it. He was the director of the film, the producer of the film, the guy who got the rights to the film, the one who's supposed to be in control. He didn't even get to see it. He was in the basement at his own movie premiere. And then she had the nerve, because she had 2 minutes of bad publicity when the film hit.
The leaked texts, reported by various media outlets, include exchanges between Justin Baldoni, his public relations head Jennifer Abel, and crisis management expert Melissa Nathan. In one such exchange, Abel purportedly told Nathan, "I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios."
Blake Lively included multiple text messages in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. Some of these messages are between two women that Justin hired, one of them being Melissa Nathan, who is a crisis management expert, and publicist Jennifer Abel. In one text from Jennifer to Melissa, she says, "He wants to feel like she can be buried," referencing Justin and Blake. Melissa tells Jennifer, "You know we can bury anyone." Some of these text messages are very intense. They are referencing unaliving Blake and putting her in a box. In one text, Jennifer says, "I'm having reckless thoughts of wanting to plant pieces this week of how horrible Blake is to work with." In one text from Justin to Jennifer, he asks what their TikTok strategy is, and he asks for them only to start posting clips of him talking about domestic violence and why this movie is so important.
He wants to feel like she can be buried. Nathan responded cautiously, acknowledging the need for secrecy. "We can't write 'we will destroy her,' but later added, 'Imagine if a document saying all the things that he wants ends up in the wrong hands. You know we can bury anyone.'"
In one text, Jennifer is celebrating how fans are backing up Justin online. In another text, she says, "Fans remain supportive of you and believe the issue of the feud is because she took control of the movie." Melissa says, "The majority of socials are so pro-Justin, and I don't even agree with half of them, LOL." In other text messages, Justin suggests how they might flip the narrative. In this screenshot, Justin sends an article about allegations of bullying against Hailey Bieber. He says, "This is what we would need," basically saying they need people to think that Blake Lively is a bully. This is a lot. Let me know your thoughts down below and follow me for more pop culture news.
Megyn has sharply criticized Blake Lively, calling it absurd that the actress is allegedly trying to portray herself as a Me Too victim. According to Kelly, Lively's claims are nothing more than an attempt to gain sympathy amid her ongoing legal troubles. The outspoken journalist slammed the actress for what she called a convenient narrative shift, questioning the timing and authenticity of her statements. As the backdrop backlash grows. The debate intensifies over whether Lively's allegations hold merit or if she is using the movement to deflect from her controversies.
She alleges that she's a Me Too victim there. That's absurd. Watch it. They're acting like lovers.
And my nose is so big.
Yes, I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late.
Okay, there. Okay, so he puts his like head in her neck.
I'm not getting beard on you today.
And says, "Am I getting beard on you?"
It smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
Well, they're doing that because they are in character, and they are trying to make it look for the camera like they love each other. Now she wants a complete gag order. Why should Justin be able to release snippets to the media without the full context? That's what she said. That's what she did.
According to the lawsuit filed by Baldoni, Lively took extensive control over the film's production, including rewriting the entire script without proper authorization. In internal communications, Baldoni expressed his frustration, writing, "Everyone knows how I feel about all this and how angry I am that Blake has taken over our film and somehow rewrote a movie we spent years developing, writing, and funding." Despite his anger, Baldoni conceded to Lively's demands, stating, "I am going to give her 98% of what she wants. I'm sure none of us have the energy to fight anymore."
She allegedly also inserted herself into the editing room, would have pages of notes, would have the editors fly to her so she could continue making revisions for her own cut. And when she was unhappy, she had the editor and a composer fired from the film. And even though they tested her edit versus Baldoni's edit in front of audiences, and Baldoni's edit ranked higher, she demanded that Sony release her version of the film. She even tried to bully her way into getting a PGA mark, which is a coveted credit for producers, which Baldoni and Jamie Heath were absolutely against. So much so that they still wrote the letter, but also sent a copy to their attorney saying that this letter was written and signed under duress.
This was a sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. So now she has filed a lawsuit, and I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move, and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. And instead the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni is going all the way to the wall on this. His lawyer is already giving interviews explaining just how nasty her team has played this. The lawyer's name is Brian Friedman. He stopped by the Megyn Kelly show. And here's some of the things that he had to say. First, he says there used to never be a claim. There never was a sexual claim until she went to that civil rights office. Take a listen.
There was actually no allegation of sexual harassment until the lawsuit was filed.
I was lucky to be able to be involved in so many different aspects of this movie, not just on screen. On screen is the smallest amount of work that I did in this film, to be honest. I took the relationships with my mother or my sisters or my children and my feelings, and I mean it's all over this film, and in ways that nobody will ever know, and I'll never tell anybody. But when I sit in that theater with my loved ones, they see themselves all over this film. Moments we've had together, things we've said to each other, and I think that's why I feel so proud, and it's so personal to me.
Blake Lively, who has accused Baldoni of misconduct and launching a smear campaign against her in a lawsuit filed last year. The case took an unexpected turn when Baldoni countersued both Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, for a staggering $400 million. But what truly shocked fans was Baldoni's decision to pull Swift into the legal mess.
We're going to be talking all things Blake Lively and her legal complaint that she's filed against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. Yes, the It Ends With Us movie drama does in fact not end. What's interesting about this story to me is the Justin Baldoni of it all. He is a self-proclaimed male feminist. He's woke. He speaks out against sexual assault and sexual harassment, even toxic masculinity. And now in this legal complaint filed by Blake Lively, he's being accused of sexual sexual harassment.
I challenge you to see if you can use the same qualities that you feel make you a man to go deeper into yourself. And will you be man enough to stand up to other men when you hear locker room talk, when you hear stories of sexual harassment, when you hear your boys talking about grabbing ass or getting her drunk? Will you actually stand up and do something so that one day we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words "me too"?
This is gonna be really awkward if these allegations are true. I will say, just for the record, I'm not a fan of either of these individuals, and something about both of them rubs me the wrong way.
Followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass from people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story, and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Ryan Reynolds, and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say certain things.
According to court documents, Baldoni alleged that Lively used Swift to exert pressure during a contentious meeting with Reynolds regarding script edits for a rooftop scene.
Justin Baldoni is now involving Taylor Swift in his lawsuit against Blake Lively. So Justin Baldoni is suing Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicists for over $400 million for all the "It Ends With Us" drama. Now he's name dropping Taylor Swift, Blake's bestie, in the mix. Thankfully, Taylor Swift is not being sued, but she's mentioned in his 179-page paper complaint, and he's alleging that Taylor's fame was used to pressure him during production. And it really all stems from this penthouse situation where Blake and Ryan live. Apparently there was a meeting there with all of them, and Taylor Swift was actually present, and Blake ended up rewriting one of the scenes. And even after the meeting was over, Baldoni texted Blake this, saying, "I gotta put my glasses on for this one, the font is too small. Also was working on the rooftop scene today. Really love what you did. Makes it so much more fun and interesting."
The lawsuit also includes communications between production team members expressing concern over Lively's increasing involvement in directorial decisions. In one exchange, a producer cautioned that if Baldoni allowed Lively too much influence, she would effectively become a co-director. The producer stated he cannot let her have opinions on everything, or she's going to be co-directing the film. These concerns highlight the internal turmoil and apprehension regarding Lively's expanding role beyond that of an actress.
So what was it like working with Blake Lively on the set of It Ends With Us? Justin Baldoni dropped a number of text messages with crew members detailing just how difficult Blake Lively was to work with. Baldoni claims that since day one of production, she tried to push her weight. She would undermine their wardrobe director and make outfit choices of her own. And rather than showing up to her scheduled fittings, she drove up the budget by having them shuttle all of the clothes to her so that she could try them on. She would often rewrite her lines daily, and apparently she was having Ryan Reynolds, who has no official credit on the film, help her rewrite some of the scenes, which was unbeknownst to Baldoni and the screenwriter.
Brian Friedman, representing Baldoni, has been vocal about the unprecedented nature of Lively's conduct. He stated, "In this vicious smear campaign fully orchestrated by Blake Lively and her team, the New York Times cowered to the wants and whims of two powerful, untouchable Hollywood elites, disregarding journalistic practices and ethics, once befitting of the revered publication, by using doctored and manipulated texts and intentionally omitting texts which dispute their chosen PR narrative." Friedman further emphasized that Lively's actions were both strategic and manipulative, aiming to assert unilateral control over the production.
For those who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30-plus year career in Hollywood. And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it. As the time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as editors. She wanted to be part of that team. The next thing you know, she took over the editing. She started making threats that she wouldn't promote the movie, that she wanted to be in control of marketing of the movie, that she would do nothing in terms of promotion unless she was the actual editor.
Do you believe Lively's involvement in the film's production was justified, or do you think it overstepped professional boundaries? Your insights can contribute to a deeper understanding of this complex issue. Please leave your comments below.